small town of Durham, which was badly damaged by the storm and where an 11-year-old boy was killed. Grey County officials held a news conference to talk about the power of the storm and the damage it caused. CBC's Havard Gould was there.
There's a long path through this community that starts in the industrial park, which is just off the main street here. So there's heavy devastation. You've seen some of the pictures through the day in our coverage. And it runs all the way up into a residential area. 8 houses severely damaged, many more with varying degrees of damage. The assessment still continues. They're still trying to track how much was done here. They don't have a dollar figure. They're knocking on doors, trying to see if anyone else was injured, trying to get some sense of how widespread this was, but at the moment, that is the first piece of information we have, sort of how it tracked through this community. We're also told that the 11-year-old boy who was killed in the conservation area, just north of here, was hit by debris, and no further detail is being offered here. We understand there was a day camp going on at a conservation area, and you can just imagine then this thing could have been so much worse. What was fascinating, and what really struck out for me in this 45-minute long news conference, was they walked through the sense of the sheer terror, really, as this developed. At one point, Mike Muir, the person in charge of the emergency medical services here, basically the ambulance system said the calls were flooding in and we had no idea of the numbers of the casualties.
So we attempted to bring as many resources as we could. The majority of our resources were sent to the Saugeen Conservation Area, where a number of injuries occurred. Those injuries were as a direct result of the storm and the storm damage with the buildings collapsing, as well as debris flying around the area. There was a day camp that was occurring at the time, so there were a number of individuals at the area. There was a number of injuries that we transported to hospital. We took victims with traumatic injuries, as well as there was a fatality at that location, and it was a young 11-year-old boy.
And later on, the fire chief talked about, he didn't use the word relief, but you could see it in his face. He said, and around 9 or 10 nights, the calls simply stopped. And I can tell you, because I was here last night, there was great concern in this community that there would be many more injuries, possibly even many more fatalities, and they were so relieved. There was just one of 5 people injured by their reports, and when the calls stopped, they had a sense that perhaps it wasn't as bad as that initial burst of terror that everybody I talked to here talks about. People can't believe how close they came to death. People who have video, people who saw it go right by them, realized that one false turn, if had they been one building down, it would have been then. I talked to someone who was in a building where the roof went up, and he huddled under the printing machine and was safe. And the next building was completely untouched. It's astonishing the way it hit here, missed there, and hit in another location, and people are somewhat stunned by how close it all came to them.
That's the CBC's Havard Gould in Durham, Ontario.